U.S. fighter jets hit Iran-backed targets in Syria.
Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin said the strikes were, quote, self-defense and that they were in response to a series of recent drone attacks against U.S. personnel in Iraq and Syria. NBC's global security reporter Dan DeLuce and our White House correspondent Ali Rafa join us now to talk about this. Good morning to both of you. Ali, let's start with you. Walk us through what the Pentagon and Austin are saying about these strikes. What are the details we have right now?
Yeah, guys. Well, this was a dramatic retaliation, but also not too surprising considering that since Israel's war with Hamas began on October 7th, we have repeatedly seen White House and Pentagon officials warn any actor, but specifically Iran and its proxy groups, Hamas and Hezbollah, from trying to broaden out this war, from trying to potentially provoke the United States from getting involved and broadening this war out. Defense Department.
Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Barachak, Wadash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of GMS, the Great Millstone, who taught us his truth and who rule well. All right. And as you can see, man, prophecy, is taking place, right in front of our eyes, man, And for us to see these prophecies, man, is a blessing. All right. So we're gonna start with Jeremiah 50, and we'll go to verse 45, man, because it talks about how the least of the flock, to draw them out, and draw out who, the Babylon army. All right. So let's go to verse 45. And it says, therefore, hear ye. Wait, is it this one? Yeah. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord, that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purpose, that he had purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. And the noise of taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations. All right, so the least of the flock, man. Amalek. The small hats. Man, they're bringing forth and drawing out. Babylon, man. That northern army. To join the conflict. But we know that this is all prophecy, man. We know that it's spoken of in the scriptures, all right, and the fact that the U.S. attacked some Iranian affiliates, military affiliates, in Syria, man. That's a major prophecy that has to take place, all right. Iran. Just like how when Israel got attacked, and like it says, the least of the flock should draw them out. How the U.S. came to their aid. Russia is going to do the same thing, man. Russia is going to come and come to the aid of Iran, according to Ezekiel 38. All right. So let's finish this out right here.
Officials saying they won't hesitate to take additional action to protect U.S. forces in this area, saying retaliation would be at the time and place of the U.S.'s choosing. And we saw that retaliation last night in a statement. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says U.S. military forces conducted self-defense strikes on 2 facilities in eastern Syria used by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and affiliated groups. A response to a series of ongoing and mostly unsuccessful attacks against U.S. personnel in Iraq and Syria by Iranian-backed militia groups that began on October 17th. Austin saying Iran wants to deny its role in these attacks against our forces. He says we will not let them. So we understand that 2 F-16 fighter jets specifically targeted weapons and ammunition storage areas in this base in Syria. A defense official saying that those were the types of weapons used on U.S. forces in those attacks. attacks. The officials say that only Iranian-backed militia, no civilians were on the base at the time, but they don't have a damage assessment or a casualty count at this time. And guys, it's still unclear whether or how Iran will react to this.
So, man, things are heating up. Things are escalating, pretty quickly, man. All right. You read Revelations 11-14, man. All right. We're going to get that. That's always a goodie to bring out right there, man. 11 and verse 14, it says, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right. And I believe the Second World War happened in 1945, I believe. All right. And so, things are escalating, man, into that Third World War, man. All right. Things are gonna, hit, to a point of no return, eventually, man, but we know, this is all, their plan, to bring chaos, man. This is what they have to do, in order to bring in, this MOTB, man. All right. They have to, bring war, to collapse the system, and history, the biblical history, constantly repeats itself, man. One kingdom shall fall and another one, shall be raised again. All right. So that's the times that we're in. We're at the end, of Esau's kingdom. All right. According to the book of Second Esdras, man, it's the end of Esau world in the beginning. It's the end of Esau in the beginning of Jacob, that followeth, man. So we're coming to an end, of these things happening, man. We're coming to the end of Esau's, so-called kingdom, man. All right. So, everything is these prophecies are just happening beautifully, man. The Lord gave us the eyes to have to see these things. As we read in the book of Jeremiah 15:45, it says the least of the flock, shall draw them out, man. And that's exactly what's happening, man. We're seeing that, with clear vision, that Israel, that the Israelis, man, and their military is bringing out, the least is bringing out, the Babylon military, out, to the Middle East, man, bring them out, for war, because, Babylon, military is allies with Israel, man, as Russia is to Iran, man. So once, Russia gets involved, man, and they bring in this MOT, man, that's when World War III is going to reach its height, reach its pinnacle, man, and, that's when, the nukes are going to start flying, man, the nukes are going to start flying real soon. All right. But, in the midst, of all these things going on, man, because they're trying to get people focused. People are so focused on this war, that they're not paying attention, of how this MOTB is about to be brought in. All right. And so, these elites, man, they need this war, man, in order, like I said, to collapse this economy, man, and to bring in order, order out of chaos, man. And what's that order? What's that solution, man? That MOTB, man. That RFID, CHIP. That's the order that they're trying to bring, and a lot of people are going to get caught off guard, man. A lot of people aren't paying attention, to that prophecy, that's going to come about, the whole world, that hour of temptation, man. All right. Because the Lord told us, that, the hour of temptation is going to come upon those and test those, roughly paraphrasing, that, belong to this world, man. All right. And so that's the times that we're coming in. All right. Let's get the book of Joel. All right. Or matter of fact, let's finish this out. Let's see what else she has to say.
Dan, if you could tell us a little bit more about the attacks the U.S. says its forces have come under in the Middle East over these past few weeks that sparked this.
That's right. So there were nearly daily attacks over 10 days against U.S. forces based in Iraq and Syria, and there were a whole number of U.S. forces that suffered minor injuries, and there was a civilian contractor who was sheltering in place during one of the incidents and died of a cardiac arrest. Here's what Pentagon Press Secretary Brigadier General Patrick Ryder had to say about that.
Between October 17 and 26, U.S. and coalition forces have been attacked at least 12 separate times in Iraq, 4 separate times in Syria, by a mix of one-way attack drones and rockets. I'm not going to have more specific.
See, and there's a scripture that talks about that, man. Men's hearts shall fail them. Let's get that. Men's hearts shall fail. Let's see if it pops up on here. Let me see. Let's see. Hearts shall fail. Let's see if it pops up. Dang. Let me look it up on the. Let's see. Let me go to my internet. Let's get this here. Let's see. Men's heart shall fail them. Let's go to the KJV. This is Luke. This, it made me think about the scripture, man, when he said the man died, from a cardiac arrest. It says men's heart failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. All right. So just how that man's, heart, failed, during, this whole conflict, with the Iranian, affiliate militants, man. This is exactly how it's going to be, man, when the Lord, makes his return, man. Men's hearts are going to fail them, man. They're going to die of cardiac arrest. All right. And so when I heard that, when I watched this myself, man, it made me think about that. All right. And so that's just, a little example, of what's to come. All right. That's just a little example of what's to come. Let's, here's some more
specific information to provide to you from here in terms of specific groups that have claimed responsibility, other than to say we know that these groups are affiliated with Iran.
So that's him describing the injuries that were suffered. And of course, he's not discussing exactly the specific Iranian-backed groups that carried out some of these rocket and drone attacks, but they're making clear that they hold Iran responsible for the actions of those groups.
So, Ali, we're also hearing from the White House. President Biden sent a message to Iran's supreme leader warning about these recent attacks. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we heard from the president on Wednesday during a speech that he gave with the Australian Prime Minister in the Rose Garden, where he issued a warning to Iran's Ayatollah. And he said, quote, "My warning to the Ayatollah was that if they continue to move against those troops, we will respond and he should be prepared." And John Kirby was asked about that during yesterday's White House press briefing, really how that warning was delivered. He wouldn't give any details, just saying that it was. But the U.S. is being very clear to stress that this was done separate from the U.S. diplomatic posture in the Middle East surrounding the Israel-Hamas war, that this was done as a deterrent. So this is definitely a delicate dance for this White House, this administration, as it tries to defend U.S. forces without potentially provoking a wider conflict in this area, guys.
And Dan, before we let you go quickly, if you could just explain this to us, because it's an important nuance here. The Pentagon is trying to emphasize that these strikes are separate from the Israel.
See, the thing, man, this is the thing, man. Babylon, Babylon, man, they're looking, to pick a fight. They're looking to go, looking forward to going to World War III, man, so they could bring in, this NWO, man. All right. And, I just seen another video, man, that, Joe fathead ass Biden, he said, they're willing and ready to go to war, for the Philippines as well with China, man. All right. Shalom. Sorry about that. The video cut off, man. But, Like I was saying, we see where everything is going, and eventually, things, are gonna, escalate, like I was saying, and yeah, man, we're in a time of prophecy right now, man, and things are escalating, man, to the point of no return, and our Lord is close. This MOTB is close, man. All right. So let's finish out this video. All right, and I got a few more scriptures I want to get into.
Israel-Hamas conflict, but Iran did warn the U.S. over its support for Israel at this UN meeting yesterday. How much of this is about telling Iran to stay out of what's going on in Israel? Is that at play here?
I think it is at play. There's an implication there, but it's also significant to point out that this is not the first time that President Biden has ordered airstrikes against Iranian-backed groups attacking U.S. forces in Iraq and Syria. So in the first months of his term in 2021, he ordered airstrikes in a kind of similar sort of series of incidents, and on another occasion. And it's also important to point out that Biden did not order strikes directly against Iran in Iranian territory. So that shows you that they're trying to calibrate everything. They're desperately trying to avoid a full-blown regional conflict and protect U.S. forces and try to contain the situation, but also send very firm messages to Tehran not to endanger American troops. So I think we may see more of this. And this is a very perilous moment, and we're not out of this crisis.
All right.
You see, he said, man, it's a very perilous moment. This is a very perilous moment, man, which means dangerous. All right. We know the conflict is going to escalate, man, according to biblical prophecies, man. These prophecies are speaking loud and clear, man. All right. So let's get the book of Joel. Let's get the book of Joel 2, and I believe it's 20. It says, "But I will remove far off from you the northern army." All right, now northern army, is the army of Babylon. And it said, "I will drive him into a land barren and desolate." All right, which I believe is, if I'm not mistaken, is somewhere, in Saudi Arabia, if I'm not mistaken. Salakia, if I could be wrong. But it says, with his face toward the east sea, and his hinder part toward the uttermost sea. What was the other sea? It's, I think it's the, I know one of them is the Red Sea. Salakia, forgive me, I can't really remember too much. I gotta, look that up again. And it says, "And his stink shall come up, and his ill shall come up. And his ill savor shall come up, because he had doing great things." All right, and that stink, represents, the many, soldiers, man, that are gonna die, man. It represents the many soldiers, man, that are gonna be piled upon each other, man. When this war happens, man, because a lot of people are gonna die in this war, man. The scriptures talks about, how the brides are going to mourn, over the bridesmaid, over the husbands, man. It's going to be so much death out there. That stink is going to, it's going to happen, man. All right. So, we know the end, is manifest, man. The end is manifest. All right. Because it says, in 2nd Ezra 9 and 5, which we'll get that. I gotta go to my other Bible. Let's get 2nd Ezra 9 and 5. Salakia. 2nd Ezra 9. It says 9 and 5. It says where should we start at? We'll just start from 1. It says, "He answered me then and said, Measure thy times diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before." All right. So, we've been told, since the beginning, all right, that the end will come. All right. It says, "Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made, Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people of the world, all right, which we're seeing that, all right, we're seeing that all over the world right now. It says, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before you, even from the beginning. All right, as we said, I'm said again, these things, were spoken of, since the beginning. It says, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and a end. You see, everything that's made, just like death, just like being born, you're the same way you come into this earth, the same way you come in, you die, eventually, there's an end to everything, man. It says, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and end. You see, everything has the beginning of the end. Like I was saying, man, you're born and you die. The beginning is the beginning. The beginning is your birth. And the end, is your death, man. It says, and the end is manifest. All right. So let's get Ezekiel 7:6, man. And I'm leaving it off with that. All right. Let's get Ezekiel, the book of Ezekiel 7:6. Slakia, here we go, right here, Ezekiel 7, and we'll get verse 6. It says, verse 6, and the end is come, it watcheth for you, behold, it is come. All right, so we're at the end, man. All right, we're at the end. These prophecies are speaking loud and clear. All right, the Lord is gathering the military, of Babylon, the northern army, according to Joel 2:20, man. And, hey, man, you just, we got to prepare our minds. We got to prepare our souls, man. We got to put on the armor of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rachak Wadash, man. All right. Because, the end is manifest, man. We're at the end. And, man, it's time to, to pray more, like I heard the elders and heard the elders and other brothers from different camps, the other camp, what is it, Saints of Jersey say, man, we gotta up our fasting, up our prayer, and put on our armor, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man, because the end is manifest, man. All right, and it's only a matter of time, before this chaos, breaks out. It's only a matter of time, before that MOTB is brought forth, man. All right. So, these last couple months, that's coming around, man. It's going to be real interesting, man, to see what's going to happen, man, in these next couple months, to see, how things are going to play out. All right. So, with that being said, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of GMS the Great Millstone, who rule well, who taught us His truth, righteousness, truth, and sincerity. Until the next video, Shalom, Shalom.